Roger Dawson, Secrets of Power Negotiating, Inside Secrets from a Master Negotiator. Unlock the secrets of power negotiating with this engaging and instructive summary of the book, Secrets of Power Negotiating, Inside Secrets from a Master Negotiator by Roger Dawson. In this book, Dawson provides valuable insights into asking for a better deal than you expect to receive, and understanding the crucial strategies of bracketing target prices, employing initial offers, and effectively navigating the 3 phases of any negotiation. By learning key negotiating gambits, effective utilization of body language, and the importance of never accepting an initial offer, readers will equip themselves with the tools required to succeed in the art of negotiating.
Power Negotiating, the Art of Bracketing. When negotiating, it's important to avoid giving up too much ground too early. To start negotiations off on the right foot, always ask for a better deal than you expect to receive. This allows you to avoid the common mistake of giving away too much before the negotiation has really started. And by making an initial offer that brackets your target price, you can secure a great deal. For example, if you want to buy a car for $15,000 but the salesperson is asking for $18,000, make an initial offer of $12,000. This turns your target price into the midpoint of the negotiating range, giving you the best chance of getting exactly what you want. The Art of Gambit Negotiation. Learn how to use gambit negotiation to your advantage in all types of deals, from buying real estate to political negotiations. This technique involves asking for more than you expect to receive, such as an unrealistic number of revisions to a contract. By doing so, you narrow the negotiating range in your favor. Another gambit is playing the reluctant seller or buyer, which can also be used to gain an advantage in negotiations. Keep in mind that these tactics can apply to both sides of a negotiation and are meant to simplify and clarify complex situations. Mastering negotiation, the power of body language and phrases. Negotiating is an art, and bluffing is at its core. The vice technique and flinching are both powerful tools that can make a real difference in a negotiation. When used correctly, these techniques can create a sense of urgency and compel the other party to make better offers, effectively widening your negotiating range. Additionally, body language plays an important role in negotiations, and reacting visibly to an initial offer can often lead to a better counteroffer. Finally, don't forget to use phrases such as, "You'll have to do better than that," to put pressure on the other party. With these tips in mind, you can become a successful negotiator and get what you want out of any negotiation. Never accept the first offer. In negotiations, it is critical to refuse the first offer from the other party. Counteroffers can lead to better deals and uncover unexpected information. By engaging in a more prolonged negotiation, both parties may walk away feeling satisfied with a mutually beneficial outcome. Mastering concessions in negotiation. When negotiating, use the bracketing technique to maintain your target price and ensure concessions taper down gradually. During the middle phase of negotiation, the aim is to converge on a deal by making counteroffers. However, be mindful of the value of concessions when making them and ensure they decrease in size as the negotiating range narrows. Avoid making multiple concessions of equal size and make sure the last one you make is not a large one to create a credible impression of reaching your limit. The power of trade-offs in negotiation. Negotiation in the middle phase involves smart concessions and the use of the trade-off gambit. Always ask for something in return for giving a concession to avoid setting a dangerous precedent. Negotiating is an art that requires skillful tactics to achieve a beneficial outcome. In the middle phase of negotiating, making shrewd concessions is essential. One should be careful not to give up too much too quickly while insisting on receiving an equal or greater amount of ground in response. The trade-off gambit is an effective strategy that should be employed in this phase. It's a rule that proposes you should never give a concession without asking for one in return. For instance, if you are selling a house and the buyer asks to move some furniture into the garage before taking ownership, do not give away this concession without a trade-off. Ask the buyer, if I can give you what you're asking for, what will you give me in return? This stimulates the buyer to propose a higher trade. There are two significant reasons why a trade-off is preferable in negotiation. Firstly, when the other party asks for a concession, it's a natural opportunity to gain something in return. This creates a win-win situation. The second and more critical reason is that making a concession without requesting something in return creates a dangerous precedent. The other party will perceive that they can make requests without offering any concessions in return. Continuously making concessions without requesting a trade-off encourages the other party to be greedy. Negotiators who use the trade-off gambit wisely can nip this problem in the bud. Establishing a pattern that every time the other party asks for a concession, an exchange is required, compels them to consider their requests carefully. In conclusion, employing the trade-off gambit is a powerful tactic that can aid in achieving desired negotiation outcomes. The Art of Middle Gambits. Imagine you're in the middle of a negotiation with a client who demands a significant concession without offering anything in return. What do? This is where the middle gambit comes in handy. By pretending there's another authority figure who needs convincing, like your boss or a committee, you've created a buffer that can deflect rejection and buy you time. The more vague the authority figure you invoke, the better. You can even cleverly position yourself as the client's ally and use the imagined authority as a mutual obstacle that you're both trying to overcome. By doing this, you can avoid free concessions and create a positive connection with the client. Breaking through a negotiation wall. In challenging negotiation scenarios, bringing in a neutral third party or projecting the will to walk away can be useful. Negotiations can reach a point where no strategy seems to be effective, and the other party insists on their demands. In such cases, bringing in a third party to offer a new perspective or acting as an intermediary can help. This party might carry more weight and credibility and might help break the impasse. It can even be just someone on your side like a manager. If the other party thinks that you have alternative options, it strengthens your position. Projecting the willingness and ability to walk away from the deal is one of the most effective ways to show your power as a negotiator. It will make the other party think twice before pushing too far or insisting on further concessions. Letting the other party think that you need to make the deal and are unwilling to walk away will only weaken your position. Remembering these tactics can help you in a tough negotiation scenario. Mastering negotiation tactics. Negotiation is an art, and sometimes things go wrong. When faced with a stalled-out negotiation, there are several less drastic tactics to consider before calling in an arbitrator or walking away. The first step is to shake things up by changing the setting, lightening the mood, or bringing in fresh energy. If that doesn't work, try using the set-aside gambit. Set aside the one or few issues that are causing problems and focus on the other common ground issues. Then, circle back to the problem issues later. Having worked through so many other issues, the other party will be reluctant to walk away from the deal empty-handed and will likely compromise. With these tactics, you can master the art of negotiations and achieve your desired outcomes. The Art of Nibbling in Negotiation. The book emphasizes how the set-aside gambit and nibbling are effective techniques in negotiation. Using psychological biases, nibbling encourages the opponent to make concessions to avoid jeopardizing the deal. The gambit involves asking for a small concession just when the deal is thought to be reached. Once the opponent has invested significant time and energy into the negotiation, they are more likely to make concessions, even small ones, to avoid losing the entire deal. The gambit can also work against the seller. Counteract nibbling by preemptively listing out the costs of extra benefits or using the higher authority gambit. Overall, nibbling is a subtle art that can help you get the most out of your negotiations. Withdrawal Gambit. When negotiations hit a standstill, the withdrawal gambit can be a powerful tool to bring the end phase to a close. It involves withdrawing an offer, which takes advantage of people's reluctance to lose something they already consider theirs. For instance, if a salesperson in a negotiation over an order of widgets comes to a deadlock with a buyer who is asking for a lower price than what they have already agreed upon, the salesperson can withdraw their offer. To do this, the salesperson must first tell the buyer they will take the request to their higher authority to see if it can be approved. Then, they return with bad news: the request was denied, and their initial offer has to be rescinded as well. The salesperson must be apologetic and provide a plausible excuse, such as a recent increase in raw material prices. The sudden loss of the agreed-upon price will cause the buyer to experience a sense of unexpected loss, leading them to try to regain the previous price and effectively forgetting their demand for a lower price. As a result, the deadlock is broken, and the salesperson's gambit has helped them end the negotiation on their terms. The Art of Negotiation. The last gambit for a win-win negotiation is called positioning for easy acceptance. This involves throwing in a small freebie with no strings attached to give the other party a final victory and a chance to save face. The key is to be the last person to concede, which will soften the blow of previous defeats and create goodwill. Even though you still come out victorious, it's important to act like the other party got the better deal and congratulate them on a job well done. Remember, both sides should feel like they won in a successful negotiation.
In this book, Roger Dawson accomplishes the feat of demystifying the intricate world of negotiating strategies, and offers practical advice for any negotiation situation. By understanding the psychological dynamics at play in negotiations and mastering the art of bracketing, flinching, and trade-offs, readers will be able to wield their negotiation prowess and ultimately become a master negotiator. The book also emphasizes the importance of maintaining goodwill in negotiations and prioritizes fostering a healthy, non-adversarial environment conducive to reaching win-win deals. With the lessons and tactics presented in this book summary, you will be well equipped to tackle any negotiation challenge with confidence and finesse.